Okay then. Yeah. We are in fact still in Coltran, or the outskirts of Coltran, anyway. I think I was putting up bits of this last time. Excuse me. Anyway, this has come along fairly well. I was kind of, I described it as jamming. I didn't have a really fixed idea about what this was supposed to look like. I just kept putting in bits, you know, wrapping it around, building rooms, knocking holes in walls, and just kept going until I had something I was sort of satisfied with, I suppose. Which I guess I am, really. It's not super great, it's not finished completely. This is not being removed, there are reasons for that. When I realised what I was doing, I was building a much larger building than I intended, and it was going to basically be full of mountain that needed to be cleared out, which I don't really like doing. As a task, it's a pain anyway, but I don't like it as a sort of a concept. I prefer not to muck around with the terrain that much. So that leaves me with the question of, well, what the hell's going on here that a building has a mountain stuck in the middle of it? Now, in part, the Grey Knights have built into hillsides. Numerous projects of mine are built like this. Yeah, I have a number of buildings that do something similar to this, perhaps not as extreme and wouldn't require quite so much clearing. Often the building is more like this side, where I put up walls which essentially boxed in a piece of mountainside and then carved out the mountain. A lot of this has had to actually be hollowed out. So you end up with a mountain hill inside, a building inside the hill itself. Here is slightly more complex than that, but the Grey Knights have a history of altercations with the Endermen. The Grey Knights founded themselves after defeating some Endermen on an island very far east of here, part of the backstory of the Empire's formation and development. After they did this, the original 7 lords who were responsible for this fight, they obviously died over time, and their heads were kept in a temple on that island, and then the Endermen stole the skulls. And this has just led to a series of ongoing exchanges between the two groups. And I'm basically suggesting that the Endermen at some point decided to drop a mountain inside of their church. Picked up a bunch of stone and dirt and just dumped it there. So that's why. It's a bit crazy as explanations go, but there you go. So yeah, I've spent a little bit of the last 3 days putting that up. That's been there for ages. You can see this grey line of grey cobblestone. This is actually potentially going to be a wall. Doesn't need to go much further than this, because this is a pretty awesome river that has really cut through some steep, high sections of extreme hills and created this fantastic canyon. You don't often see them. The thing is, there is a swamp here, as you can see. I do want to put something up in here. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I actually came over here a few days ago and put down this marker that's a general concept of what the building itself is going to look like. The swamp's not quite as big as I thought it was. I'm not sure I'm going to fit in all of this quite how I wanted it. But what I realised was that the swamp itself actually cuts across almost, with just a little bit of river. And this is the wilder way. And the Wilder Way is an area of land into which the Grey Knights do not travel. There is in fact a very large wall to the west of here which cuts across part of the landscape and boxes in that part of the Wilder Way. Quite what's supposed to be in the Wilder Way that they felt inclined to leave it the hell alone, I don't know, but that's what they did. So I'm looking here at the fact that there seems to be a way for something from the Wilder Way to quite easily gain access to the swamp and then on into Wilcottshire itself. So I'm thinking in terms of yeah, a wall, basically. It could go back here, but I'm also thinking, as I flew in there, I was actually thinking that potentially, I mean, I do see the river here, you know, I just flew down the canyon. The river may form a natural barrier. It may be, perhaps I can put the wall along the shoreline of the river, this side. Perhaps, might make more sense perhaps to go this side. In any case, we can go along here, form into the actual canyon, extreme hill. Options. I mean, the wall is something I wanted to go to next after what I'm actually tweaking and fiddling with at the moment, but I don't know. I obviously don't have quite the clear idea about where I want to put it and what its purpose is, so yeah, in the meantime, I'm actually here and tweaking this. I threatened to do this from a very, very early stage of Coltran's build. Basically put up a something into this overhang, because so yeah, this is a natural space all the way up. I've just built this tower around it, and I'm just considering how this is going to play out. How this is going to fill in what it was for. I mean, if that's a cathedral, this is probably a fortress, possibly a citadel. Not huge. It's also made me tempted to bring the road around that side instead of around this way. More tweaking. It's going to be a little awkward getting it over this piece of terrain, so I may actually leave that alone. Still. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing. It's not a huge amount for, it's been 3 days. Although I don't think this was that far along, the chapel church thing. Oh, I marked these out as well. There's going to be a couple of towers just protecting the road on the way in. Possibly need another bridge here, to be honest. That would make sense. This is possibly a windmill. I was going to go up over here somewhere, but I thought it was totally the wrong spot for it. So the windmill is going to go somewhere here. It may need to come over here, in fact, actually. I'm not sure. I'm a little hazy on it. This is a farm. Again, this whole area is hopefully eventually going to be transformed into a wheat field. But that's a little way down the road still, so... Okay, so I suppose I ought to get on with something. I was actually in the middle of, I've been doing a little bit of work before I started the stream up, so yeah, I've installed this to provide access all the way up and down the inside of the tower. So that's, you know, that's come out fine. like, this is just an access issue for the tower itself. I actually need to resolve, I just realised I have no way in to this building. The ground floor has been sealed. Well, not I say sealed, I just simply not left an opening. Although using the word sealed doesn't open up the interesting possibility that that is exactly what has been done with it. It has been sealed. I don't know, I look at it and it's like, well, this seems to be the only logical way to come into this place. I mean, you could install some stairs that would get you up to the higher part, but I don't know. Seems over the top. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off there for YouTube and go quiet a little while and get cracking on some actual work.